So you just received orders to come to JBLM, and now you're thinking where you want to live, what the commute's like, and if this place will ever feel like home. I know for me and my family, we came here in October 2021, and when it was time to retire in 2025, we ended up staying because of our love for our church, and the kids love their school so much too. My name is Daniel DeJesus. I'm a realtor here in the JBLM area, and I work with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. And in this video, I want to share some things that I learned along the ways, and hopefully that I can give to you some tips that will help you in your PCS move. Stay tuned. One of the first questions that military families ask is, what are the best cities to live near JBLM? For me, I know I had that same question in 2021. When we lived in North Carolina, we have friends that told us to look into Lacey area because they thought it was really nice. And when we came here, that's what we did. We did our first searches in Lacey. We ended up finding a home there that fit our family, and it was near a really big park. So we ended up loving that area as well. But here's something that I learned, that there is not one best city for everyone. Um, all that's going to depend on where you work in JBLM, if you care about the commute, also what your housing budget is going to be like, and if schools are going to be important to you as well. Families often consider Olympia, Lacey, Tumwater, Yelm, Lakewood, DuPont, Stillicombe as one of those places because it's near the base. So the goal is not to tell you where you should live, it's to gather the information and compare places to make the informed decision that you need whenever you're moving. The next thing you want to consider is your commute to JBLM, not just the miles. I know for me, when I was stationed in JBLM, I was assigned to JBLM Maine. For me, what normally would take a 20-minute commute to Lacey took about 35 minutes on the I-5. So that was a little bit of a deterrence as well. But something that I found out was that there was a gate called the RCF Gate that's near the MPs. I think we call it the MP Gate anyways. But they have different set hours that help the commute a little bit easier as well. So in the mornings, I think they're open from 5 to 10 a.m. And that's only for inbound traffic. So PT, coming in for work, all that stuff. And then in the afternoons, they're open from 2 to 7 p.m., but only outbound. So everybody leaving work and all that good stuff. So that's what I read the times are for July 2026. But please make sure that you verify your times so that way you don't think that, oh, this guy gave me the wrong information. So before choosing where you want to live, just make sure that you know exactly where you are going to be assigned on JBLM, whether it's North 4 or whether it's JBLM Maine. That way you can do a research on what gates are around that location to kind of help you navigate your commute in the mornings and the afternoons. Another major decision is whether you want to live on base, rent off base, or buy a home. So our family, we had homes at our previous 2 duty stations, and our preference was to buy a home again. We strongly considered living on base in 2021, but back then the wait times were indefinite. We didn't know when the timelines were, and we just considered that it would just be better for us to live off base and buy a home again. Housing availability is something that you should investigate early whenever you have your orders. The wait list in JBLM can be pretty long sometimes, and I think as of May, it was 700 families still on the wait list. Usually your wait time and your timeline is depicted on what your rank is, how many bedrooms, and the community you select. So please be sure to do your own research and investigate what that timeline looks like to you. Mine work for our family, but I know that's not for everybody. I know that there's some things that you should consider is how long you're going to stay in JBLM, your finances, commuting, whether you are going to be comfortable with home ownership, your monthly payments, and even if the location is good for you. I would say or suggest to you is that apply for on-post housing as soon as you have orders. Call them, email them. Calling is probably not going to work, but emailing them might work best. And try to get on the housing list right away. That way you have options for yourself whenever you come down here, and you're not making any late second decisions. JBLM also comes with its own surprises. I know for us, our first summer here, we loved it. We loved the weather. It was amazing. I will say that there's not a lot of community pools, which we were accustomed to before. But a lot of the families usually go to lakes or the Puget Sound or try to stay by rivers or creeks. So that is an option for a lot. So this was our first experience with schools here in Washington. And we've had positive experiences each time with our teachers and the students and the friendships that my kids had. So I have no complaints with that. But I will say that you would want to do your own research to make sure that it fits your lifestyle and your family's as well. Gas prices here are a lot higher than I expected when I first got here, so that's why it's important to understand what your commute time would be. We also love trying new restaurants, and we were a little surprised that Lacey doesn't have very many options. So we actually had to go to places like Olympia to find some really nice hidden gems. Um, but I will say that now that Hawks Prairie area in Lacey is opening up a whole bunch more restaurants, there's a lot more options there as well now. So give yourself some time to explore. Some of the things that we discovered were our favorite were some of the things that we found after we've already settled in. If I could change one thing about my PCS in 2021, it would probably be to contact a local real estate agent here that would help me kind of figure out where the communities were and figure out what the commute times would be as well. Because trying to do that from across the country was very difficult, and we just decided, hey, once we get here, we'll figure it out. And figuring out once we get here put us in a little bit of a panic to try to find somewhere to live because of the housing wait times. So I would just say that it's important to do the research. And just because you talk to a real estate agent doesn't mean that you're going to buy a home. It's just gathering information, and having someone that's here can at least give you some options, some of the cities and some of the school districts, and some of the things that you may not even think about whenever you come here to help you make a better informed decision. So talking with an agent doesn't mean that you're going to be buying a home just then. It just means that you're trying to get information from someone that's locally here. And I think it's important to at least try to compare communities, try to give you some virtual tours, also try to figure out if um, financially you're there to buy a home or not. I know that I have some preferred lenders that are willing to help and assist. And if you're not there yet, they can create a timeline for anyone to get into that home ownership. If buying's already part of your PCS plan, I would say that you should start early doing your research on that real estate agent. You don't have to have all the answers, but at least you have some that will help you gain that knowledge that you need to make a better decision. If you're preparing to move to JBLM and you need some help understanding some of the communities, comparing some of the commute times, and understanding what the home buying process is, I would urge you to book a call with me using the link below with the Calendly, and we can take 30 minutes, maybe less, just trying to talk about your orders, how long you're going to stay for, and if it's even a good decision for you to even try to buy a home right at this moment. Subscribe for more JBLM relocation guidance and community tours, the VA loan processes, and just some of the areas that I like to go visit, like restaurants and fun activities that we like to do as a family. I'm Daniel De Jesus, and I look forward to helping you navigate to your next move.